أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي ربنا زدنا علما اللهم فقهنا في الدين آمين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh ya Ahlul Quran. I hope and pray that you all are in the best state of health and increasing state of Iman. Ameen. Alhamdulillah. So in previous classes we have completed learning Makharij al-Huruf, and after that Alhamdulillah we yesterday learned the first Tajweed ruling called as Harakat. Alright. Okay, inshallah today let's have a quick revision of this ruling which we learned yesterday, and then let's move on to a new topic inshallah. Okay, fine. So inshallah let's start. Harakat. What does harakah mean? Harakah means the movement. Okay, the movement of the letters, the sound of our letters is called as harakah. Okay, the plural of harakah is harakat. Fine. What does harakat actually mean? It is similar to the English vowels A, E, I, O, U, the short vowels which cannot be stretched more than one count. Okay. In Arabic, there are only 3 short vowels, that is fatha, dhamma and kasra. Okay, the fatha and dhamma and kasra. The letters carrying these fatha, dhamma, kasra are called as mutaharrik letters. Okay, and how does these letters carrying fatha, dhamma and kasra sound? Fine. For example, if we take an example of a letter Hamza carrying a fatha, then we'll have to open both the jaws completely. The both jaws should open widely, and we'll have to pronounce it like a, okay, for one haraka only. And the second is, if it has dhamma on it, then we will pronounce this letter with dhamma by encircling a lip, oo. Okay, and when Hamza carries kasra, then we'll pronounce this letter Hamza like E. This is pronounced by dropping your lower jaw. Okay, the lower jaw should move backward. The chin should move backward, that is dropping your chin will make you sound the letter with kasra properly, or else it won't sound clearly. So it will be so it is must that you'll have to lower your lower jaw inshallah. This is how we pronounce the letters with fatha, dhamma and kasra, that are the mutaharrik letters. And the important thing which we have to remember while reading these mutaharrik huruf is, the first point, these letters should come out from their own makhraj. Okay, we should not change the makhraj of the letters. The second is, the sifat should not change, that is the quality of a letter. The heavy letters will be pronounced heavily, the light letters will be pronounced lightly. And the important part is, it should not be stretched for more than one haraka. Okay, only for one count. More than that, if we stretch a letter carrying harakas for more than one count, then they will convert into a long accents called as mad. Okay, so we'll have to make sure that harakas, that is a mutaharrik huruf, should be stretched only for one count. Alhamdulillah. And another thing which we learned here is the letter ra, which is a mushtarak huruf. When it has fatha and dhamma on it, it will be pronounced heavily, and when it carries kasra, we'll pronounce that letter ra lightly inshallah. Okay, this is all about harakat, that is the movement of the sound of those letters. Okay, alhamdulillah. Okay, now inshallah let's move on to the new topic, that is called as sakin. What does sakin means? Sakin means to rest. Okay, sakin means something which is not moving. It is completely opposite to haraka. Okay, in haraka, the letters from its makhraj, that is, makhraj is the house of a letter, right? And those letters earlier used to come out from their mouth in their original states, like for example, if you take the example of seen, it was coming out from its makhraj like seen, right? But as soon as we added harakas on it, they started moving. The sound started moving up when we had fatha on it, and they started moving down when we added kasra on it, and it started moving forward when we added dhamma on it, like sa, si, su, right? But as soon as this letter carries sakin on it, then they will be in the resting stage. They won't move anywhere. They will be in their makhraj, resting over there. You can say that if this is a house, for example, here in this image, if this is a house of this letter, the makhraj, that is the makhraj of letter Sin is al-lisan, tarful lisan. The letter Kha is adna al-halaq, and letter Sheen is wasatul lisan. If this is their houses, before they were just exiting out of their houses in their original states like Sin, Kha, and Sheen, right? But as soon as we added fatha dhamma kasra on it, they came out of their homes, that is makhraj, by moving their sounds like sa, si, su, kha, khi, khu, sha, shi, shu. Alhamdulillah. But when we add sakin to it, now they are not coming out of their mouth by movement, by moving, they'll come out in a resting stage. Like the Seen will now sound like s. Okay, the Sheen will sound like sh, and the letter Kha will sound like fine. This is how they come out from their makhraj. They are just sleeping over there. Fine. This is the thing I just explained to students, like they are sleeping and they are snoring with their sounds over there, alhamdulillah, because they are now in the resting stage. Okay, the letters which has sukoon on it is called as sakina. What is the sign of a sukoon? The sign of a sukoon comes from the word khafif. Khafif means something which is light, and the if this is the letter kha, okay, then the sign of a sukoon is the head of the letter kha, excluding the dot over there. Okay, for example, this one, this kha. Okay, this is the sign. The khafif means something which is very light, and this is the sign. It looks like a dal sign, okay, but actually it is the head of the letter kha. And you can see from these letters, you can see how the sakin sign actually looks. Fine, this is how it looks like in English. If you see the comma which we use, okay, the comma, sorry, in this way, comma we see, right? It is just similar to that. It will be always present above a letter, alhamdulillah, and the letter carrying this sukoon is called as sakina. Fine. What does actually sakin mean in tajweed ruling? The empty letter without haraka is a sakin, or a letter carrying sukoon is a sakin. Why sometimes it is said that it is an empty letter? Because in few mushafs, that is the scripts of Quran, like in Usmani mushaf, which is usually used in Arab countries, and also we are using it nowadays in the Indo-Pak world, India and Pakistan also. In those scripts, few sakin letters are empty. Okay, every sakin letter will not have a sakin sign on it. It will be empty because that Musaf, Usmani Musaf, which Arabs use, have a very less tajweed rules highlighted in it. Okay, but the script which we use here in India and Pakistan, maybe you all are using the same script. That is also called as a Majidi script or Indo-Pak version of the Quran. In that, you can see the sakin is present in all the sakinah huruf. If there is no sakin on the letter, that means it is not pronounced. If there is no sign, there is no sound. Okay, but if you see a letter carrying sakin, that letter is called as sakina, and it will have to be pronounced as a sakin huruf. Fine, alhamdulillah, this sakin huruf connects one letter to the other letter. Okay, it connects one letter to the other letter, alhamdulillah. And the very important thing which we have to remember about sakin is the sakina letters are not read separately. They are read by joining it with the previous letter. What does this means? There is no word in Arabic that starts from sakin. There should be a mutaharrik letter before it if you want to pronounce the letters with sakin. For example, in English you can, if you take a word called as pa, okay, this p has a vowel, it is pa, right? But this s has no vowels, but still the word can begin with something without an vowel, or you can say with a consonant, right? Just with a letter s, the word can begin. But in Arabic this doesn't happen. It needs a vowel. Just like if you convert this pa into sap, there should be a vowel on a letter which is beginning. Okay, there should be a vowel on the letter which is in the beginning of the word. Fine, the word should always begin with a mutaharrik letter. Okay, so to learn the sakina huruf here in this class, we will take a mutaharrik letter before it. What is mutaharrik letter? The mutaharrik letter is a letter carrying fatha, dhamma and kasra, that is a letter carrying harakas. And so maybe now you understood that ruling of lehn al-jali which we had learned in the day 1 class, the causes of lehn al-jali, and that one ruling was about the mutaharrik and sakin huruf, right? Changing the letters from mutaharrik to sakin and sakin to mutaharrik is also lahn al-jali. So it is very important for you all to learn this class, alhamdulillah. Okay, now inshallah, let's apply the sakin on all the Arabic alphabets. Okay, but as soon as we apply the sakin on the Arabic alphabets, the sukoon on the Arabic alphabets, few alphabets will have a special quality. Okay, for example, the first ruling which we are going to learn today is about the hums. What is hums? Which we have already learned while learning the makharij al-huruf, right? In two letters you have written it has hums while in sakin, right? Which are those letters? The letter kaf and ta. So first ruling which we are going to learn now is hums. What is hums? The continuation of the breath is called as hums. Okay, the continuation of the breath is called as hums. There are 10 letters of hums. There are 10 letters of hums. Yani the letters which needs your air to pronounce clearly. If you don't involve your air, then they won't be pronounced correctly. I'll write those letters. You can take it in your book now, and inshallah I'll let you know how without hums these letters are actually not pronounced. First is letter ta. We will come to this later. Okay, the next is letter sa. Just see, if you don't involve the air while pronouncing this letter sa, then this letter won't be pronounced clearly. You just keep your palm near your lips and pronounce the letter sa, sa, sa. You can see that without air, actually, this letter cannot be pronounced. So we need the breath, the continuation of the breath to pronounce this letter sa. Same thing with letter ha. Ha. Lot of air should come out, right? The next letter is kha. Even here, if you don't involve your breath inside, you will not be able to produce that sound. This sound won't come, right? Kha. And the next is seen. Without the air, you'll not able to pronounce this letter seen. That is a whistling sound. Is for to produce a whistling sound, you need an air, right? And the letter sheen, to produce a shushing sound, you need the air to be involved, right? Same thing with sod. There should be a air involved while pronouncing this letter sod, and it has a whistling sound too, right? And the letter fa, you can just keep your palm near your lips and pronounce fa, fa, fa. Without air, you'll not be able to pronounce this letter. Let's come to the letter kaf later. Now let's see the last letter ha. That is, the air should come out, the breath should come out from the bottom part of your throat, or you'll not be able to pronounce this letter clearly. All these letters are the letters of hums. There are 10 letters. That is, you need your air, your breath to pronounce these letters clearly, right? But the letter ta and kaf, you can see, even though if you don't involve a lot of air, still you will be able to pronounce the ta and kaf when you add fatha dhamma kasra on it, right? Like ka ki ku ta ti tu, lot of air doesn't come out. Okay, ta ti tu ka ki ku, or even if you say ta kaf, right? So these are the two letters. Importantly, you will have to focus it when you add sakin to it. Okay, because these letters which we have learned now, the 8 letters, except this ta and kaf, if we don't involve it, they'll not be able to produce any sound. So it is just compulsory. But letter ta and kaf are not much necessary that you have to involve your air. But when it comes to sakin, it is compulsory for you that you have to involve your air to pronounce these letters, or else it won't sound clearly because its makhraj is very, very strong. Let's see the kaf first. This is your tongue, and this is the last letter is ha, dear sister. The ha from your aqsal halaq. Okay. See, this is your tongue. The last part of your tongue is touching in between your hard and soft palate, right? Now you try to pronounce a letter kaf with sakin, and there should be a mutaharrik letter before it, right? Or else we cannot pronounce a sakin letter. So let's take hamza with fatha. Now you try to pronounce this letter kaf. Ak, ak, ak. Can you just, is it audible? Is it so clear? No, it is not, because the voice is not coming out. The middle part of our tongue is just locked here. Sorry, the hard palate and the soft palate, that has just locked. The tongue has locked it, and it is not allowing the sound to come out. See, ak, 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 right? The sound just stopped over there because the makhraj is very strong, and that is why we have to involve our breath now to let that come out and sound the kaf clearly, like ak, ak, Allahu Akbar, Akbar. Okay, this is how, which is called as continuation of the breath, and this is how we have to do it. Okay, this is called as continuation of the breath, and this is how you'll have to apply it in the letter kaf. Ak, ak. Now it is very clear, right? Or else it was like ak, ak, ak. Don't know whether we are pronouncing the letter kaf or something else. So we have to continue our breath. Same thing with at. What happens is the top part of your torful lisan touches the gums of upper incisor, touches the root of upper incisor teeth, right? And now it is just locking there. And if you try to pronounce it with sakin, at, at, the sound is not coming out. You don't know, nobody can understand whether it is kaf or ta you're pronouncing. So what you have to do, you have to let air come out of that. You have to just leave a little space and make air come out of there. Then it will sound like at, at. Okay, this hums of letter ta should not sound like ats, because I have seen many sisters when I ask them to do hums, they use the letter s in it. The sound comes it. There should be no like s kind of sound coming out. It should be like at, at. You can just it is just an alternate to the word Thailand. Thai, it is just like that. Okay, the you can, if you just keep your palm near your lips, you can see the lot of air coming out when you have, when you pronounce this letter with sakin. Okay, at, at, at. Okay, in this way, alhamdulillah, these are the two letters of hums which we have to, yeah, th in the end. Okay, which we have to th in the end of letter t, but not with the kaf. With the kaf you can say it is like a, k and h, ak. Okay, and for the letter ta you can say at and h, at. Okay, in this way, alhamdulillah. So these are the letters of hums. There are 10 letters, and only in sakin will have to focus on 2 letters, that is letter kaf and ta, because all the other letters, if you don't do hums, they are not just, they will not be able to pronounce clearly. Okay, yeah sister, just like hook in kaf, alhamdulillah. Now let's see what is qalqala, because we have already learned, we have seen this in while learning the makharij al huruf, right? While learning makharij al huruf, we in 5 letters, in the sifat column of 5 letters, we have written that it has a quality called qalqala. Which are those 5 letters? These are qaf, ta, ba, Jim and Dal. Together you can just name it as Qatubujad. Qatubujad, ya Qatubujad. In this way, you can see, just to remember, you can just make it a one word like Qatubujad. Okay, fine. The reason for the qalqalat on this letter is just exactly same like the reason for hums. That is, the makhraj of this letter is very strong. Now I'll recite these letters without doing qalqala. You just see how they sound like ak, at, ab, ad. The voice was not clear, the sound of these letters was not clear, because when we pronounce the letter qaf, here are the letters of qalqala. If you pronounce the letter qaf with sakin, then the last part of your tongue touches the soft palate completely, very strongly, and it will not let the sound to come out. Okay, same thing with letter ta. The top portion of your tarful lisan touches the roots of your upper incisor teeth, and when you pronounce it with sakin, it will not allow the sound to come out like at, at, up. See, it is not allowing to come out. Same thing with ba. While pronouncing ba with sakin, your both the lips will close completely. It will close in such a way that the sound will not come out of your mouth like ab, ab, ab. See, it is not coming out. Will not be able to find out which is the letter we are actually pronouncing, right? Same thing with the j. We had learned it that while pronouncing the letter jim, the middle part of our tongue will completely touch the upper hard palate, right? When it touches there, when you pronounce it with sakin, then the sound won't come out like ad, ad, ad. See, there is no sound coming out, right? Same thing with dal. The torful lisan will touch the gums of your upper incisor teeth, and the sound won't come out because it is just creating a lock over there. Ad, 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 right? And that is why we have to do qalqala. And what does qalqala mean? Qalqala means to bounce the sound of a letter, or echoing the sound of a letter is called as Qalqalah. Now what we have to do is, it is just like you take a ball and hit it on the ground. That ball doesn't stay there, it comes backward, right? It will just bounce back, and this is called as a bouncing. Now while pronouncing this letter, when you hit your tongue to its makhraj, now the sound should come back, you can say it should bounce back, and that is why we have to do qalqala on these letters, because if we don't do that, they'll not be pronounced clearly. Now let's pronounce this letter with qalqala by bouncing it. Just see how this sound like aq, aq, ab, aj, ad. Okay, before it was like up, ab, ad. They are not totally audible, they are not clear. Now it is like aq, aq, ab, aj, ad. Can you see the difference? Now they are very clear, right? And the qalqala is only done in these 5 letters, because few sisters do the qalqala on other letters also, like especially I have seen in letter lam, they pronounce it like alhamdu, al. So you're not allowed to do qalqala on any other letter except these 5 letters. What are these letters? Qaf, ta, ba, Jim and Dal, which you can remember in one word as qutubujad. Okay, if you just remember this word, it will be easy for you to find out these 5 letters. Alhamdulillah, this is called as the letters of qalqala, and qalqala means bouncing the sound of the letters. Okay, aq, aq, ab, aj, ad. The qalqala which we are doing now is a light qalqala. There is a heavier and a stronger qalqala too, especially when these letter has sakin with tajdeed on it. So when inshallah we'll learn tajdeed and waqf rulings, you will understand about heavier qalqala. Like the heavier qalqala will sound like aq, aq, ab, aj, ad. This happens when we add tajdeed, when we emphasize the letter and also do qalqala together. Okay, alhamdulillah, these are the 2 important qualities of the letters when they are in sakin. And the last quality which we are going to learn today is the quality of hamza, that is called as the qat'a, that is cutting off its sound, is called as qat'a in Arabic, and in English we can just say a jerk kind of sound or a cut off sound. When you take a letter, for example ba, because to recite a sakin letter we need something before it, a mutaharrik letter. So let's take an example of ba, then let's add hamza to it. Okay, hamza to it, and hamza has a sakin now. Hamza has a sakin now. Now if you want to pronounce this letter and you just say ba, it will sound like you're only pronouncing ba, right? So to make it clear that you're also pronouncing hamza, you have to cut its sound. Okay, cut its sound like ba, ta, tha. This kind of jerk or cut off sound is called as a qat'a, that is cutting in Arabic. So make sure when there is sakin on hamza, you have to cut its sound like ba, ta, tha, ja. Okay, this is how you pronounce hamza. For example, there are words in Quran like ta'tuna. This hamza should with sakin should not sound like qalqala. It should not be ta'tuna, ta'u. The sound should not come out. Ta'tuna is wrong. It should be ta'tuna. Another word which is in the Quran you can see is bi'sa. Bi'sa. Okay, if this is a word, you should not pronounce it like bi'usa. Bi'usa is wrong. Bi'sa. You can see that jerk, or you can see that cut off sound which comes, that is bi'sa. Okay, alhamdulillah. Now let's repeat all the things again. What is sakin? Sakin means something which is in a resting state. Okay, alhamdulillah, these letters which are coming out from their houses, from their makhraj, are now in a resting stage. They are resting in their houses with their sounds. Okay, alhamdulillah. In Quran, in the Arabic, no word can start from sakin, so there should be a mutaharrik letter before it. Letters carrying haraka is called as mutaharrik. The letters carrying sakin is called as a sakina letter. Sakina huruf like sin sakina, noon sakina, Jim sakina, mim sakina. Okay, in this way. And what does this sakin letter actually do? They connect one letter to the other letter. Inshallah, let's see that later. When you read a word, you can understand if this is a word and this is a word. Okay, now if you want to connect this letter to, this is a letter hamza with fatha and ba with fatha. To connect this with this, you need something here. You add noon sakin, it is ba. Now you are just connecting one letter to another just by this sakin. Okay, it connects one letter to the other letter. Okay, alhamdulillah, this is all about sakin. And when we apply the sakin on the letters, there are few letters which acquire a special quality only when we add sakin on it. Remember, only when you add sakin on it, these letters of qalqalah will have a quality called qalqalah. In hums, actually, even if there are mutaharrik like fatha, dhamma, kasra, even then these letters are pronounced with hums. That is the continuation of the breath. Okay, and the hamza with sakin is pronounced with a jerk or a cut off sound only when it is sakin. Okay, alhamdulillah. So these are the three important qualities which we have learned. That is, continuation of the breath is called as hums, where there are 10 letters, and we must focus on kaf and ta when they are in sakin. And the letters of qalqalah are 5, and these are the very important letters. If you don't pronounce this with qalqalah when they are in sakin, then you will not be able to make it clear. Okay, the sound won't be clear. So the last thing which we have learned now is the letter hamza. When it has sakin on it, you have to cut its sound. Okay, you have to cut its sound like ba, ta, sa. Okay, alhamdulillah, this is all about sakin. Now I'll recite all these letters now with sakin. You just focus on its sifat. Okay, I'm also going to mention the sifat of those sifat called as hums of all those 10 letters, and you can see the hums over there is so compulsory, and it will just come out easily. But for the letter ta and kaf, we have to do the hums clearly by focusing on it. Okay, now I'll recite it. The things which we have to remember is the heavy letters, even in sakin, will be pronounced heavily. Okay, the light letters will be light, and the qalqalah letters will be pronounced with qalqalah. Hums letters will be pronounced with hums, and the hamza with sakin will have a cut off sound. Alhamdulillah. And the ra, which is a mushtarak harf, we have to learn about this. So ra, which is a mushtarak letter, with fatha and dhamma it was heavy, and with kasra it was light. Right, with kasra it was light. Now when it has sakin on it, what we have to do is we have to see the letter before it. Now if ra has sakin, we should see what the letter before it carries. If it carries fatha and dhamma, then this ra sakin will sound heavily like ar. It is not ar now, it is not ar, it is ar, heavy. And if it has dhamma before it, it is heavy, ur. It is not ur, it is not ur, it is ur. Just like it is not Quran, it is not Quran, it is Quran. Fine, in this way you have to make it heavy. But remember, if you are not making ra heavy or light whenever this ruling has to be applied, then you're doing lehn al khafi, not lehn al jali. Okay, if the ra sakin has fatha before it, but still if you recite it with lightness, then you're doing lehn al khafi, not lehn al jali. But still we have to make sure that we won't do any lehn, right, inshallah. And the ra sakin, if it has a letter before it carrying kasra, then this ra sakin will be light, like ir. Okay, alhamdulillah, this is the point you'll have to remember about ra. And yeah, how much haraka? Actually, haraka means the movement. So this sakin has no movement. Just apply it, just make it sound clearly, and that is enough. But the letter before it should be stretched for one haraka only, because now the letter which we are taking is hamza with fatha. Okay, so it will be pronounced for one haraka only. So inshallah, let's pronounce this. You just focus on heaviness of letters, lightness of letters, sounds of letters, and the special qualities which we have learned, inshallah. Okay, ab, ba with qalqalah, ab, at, ta with sakin, at, as, even here we are doing hums. The continuation of the breath is taking place because sa is a letter of hums, right? But actually we'll not focus on it, because without hums actually we'll not be able to pronounce this letter only. That is why let's focus only on ta and kaf. As, aj, qalqala, the sound should be bounced. Okay, even here the hums is taking place, and still we don't want to learn about it, because without bringing your air out of your mouth, you will not be able to pronounce the letter ha. It is its main sifat, right? Kha should be little heavier. Ad, letter of qalqala. As no buzzing sound. Make sure you bring out the tip of your tongue outside your upper incisor teeth. It should touch the corner or head of your upper incisor teeth. Ad, ad, okay. Ar is heavy now because it has fatha before it. Ar, ar, okay. As buzzing sound. As, seen with the whistling sound. As, sheen with the shushing sound. Ash, ash, okay. Sod with the whistling sound, and also it should be heavy. As, as, dod, the letter dod, you have to make sure that you're not bouncing its sound, okay. Ab, 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 okay. The sound should not come out like abu, abu. It will sound like qalqalah, okay. You should make sure that the tongue is in its makhraj for a while when you pronounce it with sakin. Ab, 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 okay, in this way. Atu, atu, ta with qalqalah. Ow, ow, ow. See how heavy it is. Ow, ow, af, aq, qaf with qalqala, kaf with hams, ak, al, an. These two letter meme and noon are the letters of gunna, but here we will not do any gunna. We'll just recite it by showing its letter clearly. That is called as izhar, and an, because we have a separate ruling of this meme sakin and noon sakin to know when we'll do gunna on it and when we'll not do gunna on it. Inshallah, we'll learn that later. For now, you just pronounce it clearly like an, okay. And this is ha, and the hums which we do, the continuation of the breathe should come out from the bottom part of our throat. And this is hamza, which have to be pronounced with a jar, cut off sound. Okay, you can see in this slide we have not learned two letters. One is letter Waw with sakin, another is letter Ya with sakin. Two letters are missing here. I have taken out these two letters purposely because if you learn it here, you will have to learn another two special qualities of letters in sakin. We have learned already three, right? Like hams, qalqalah, and you can say the cut off sound that is called as a Qat'a of hamza, right? Now if I add these two letters, then we'll have to learn another two things called as huruf al-mad and huruf al-leen. So I've taken this out so that you won't confuse, because if these letters have fatha before it, these letters get promoted to huruf al-leen, and if it has kasra or dhamma before it, then they'll convert into a huruf al-mad, and that is why we'll learn that tomorrow, inshallah. Okay, for now we'll just take out these two letters, and all the letters are pronounced with sakin, with special qualities, ta and kaf with hums, and qaf, ta, ba, jim, dal with qalqala. The letters which are heavy and the light are pronounced light even though it has sakin on it. And letter ra, if it has sakin on it, we'll have to see a letter before it. If letter before it is carrying fatha and dhamma, then the ra sakin is heavy. If the letter before it is carrying kasra, then the ra sakin will be light, inshallah. Let's see how to pronounce the letters kaf and ta when it has sakin on it in the words. Okay, here is a word called aktharuhum, and see, the letter kaf is pronounced by doing hums. Aktharuhum, aktharuhum. Okay, here akramu, akramu, akbaru, akbaru. Okay, let's see ta here. A'jabatkum, a'jabatkum. You can also see the other letters pronounced with sakin. Ain, the letter ta, letter mim, they are pronounced just by touching their makhraj. A'jabatkum, kasabat, habitat, habitat. Okay, this is how we pronounce letter ta and kaf with hums. And let's now see the words carrying qalqala. Qablikum, see, qablikum, fidya, yatahurna, see, the ta should sound heavy. Okay, it is a heavy letter. It should not sound like yatahurna. It is not yat, it is yato. Ta should be heavy. Yatahurna, ra sakin heavy because it has dhamma before it. Taj'al, taj, the qalqala should be done. Taj'al, aqrabu, aqrabu. Okay, yablugha, yab. It is not yablugha, yablugha, yab, yablugha. Okay, yaj'ali, yaj, j. See how it is bouncing back. Yaj'ali, yat'amhu, يطعمه يطعمه. Okay, alhamdulillah, this is how you pronounce the letters with qalqalah and the letters with hums, alhamdulillah. So inshallah, if you have any kind of doubts, so you can ask me in the WhatsApp group. We have only 3 minutes left. Inshallah, tomorrow we will first recite all these letters with sakin, and then we'll learn the another topic called huruf al-mad, because now we are going to learn how letter waw sakin and ya sakin, as soon as we add sakin to the letter ya and wa, how they'll convert into a mad letters. Okay, the long accent letters. Fine, alhamdulillah, this is all about sakin. There is just 2 minutes time, but still I'll just repeat all these things again. Sakin means to rest. Letter carrying sakin are called as sakin is called as sakina. Okay, and when and no word in Arabic will start with sakin. You'll have to have one mutaharrik letter before it to pronounce it. Okay, and when you add sakin to the letters, there are few special letters which has a special quality, like kaf and ta. We have to pronounce it with hums, that is continuation of the breath. Qaf, ta, ba, jim, dal will have to apply the ruling of qalqalah, that is bouncing its sound, and the letter hamza, which should be pronounced with a jerk or a cut off sound, alhamdulillah. And the rules of sakin is the heavy letters should be heavy and light letters will be light, inshallah. And the letter ra, which is mushtarak, will be heavy when it has fatha and dhamma before it, and when it has kasra before it, then it will be pronounced lightly, alhamdulillah. Okay. Okay, alhamdulillah. So inshallah everything is completed. If you have any kind of doubts, you can ask me on WhatsApp, either in group or in privately. Okay, ji sister Hania, kindly ask me this question in private, okay, because I didn't understand about surah Jam'ah which you're speaking, so kindly ask me privately. Fine, so inshallah let's end the meeting and practice these things very well. I hope you already got the practice book. You just go through it once, inshallah. Fine, alhamdulillah, let's end the meeting now. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullahu khaira.